So, hello everyone. All of you would be aware of the recent surge that you would be seeing in the prices of two precious metals, which are very predominantly known amongst all of us, both of them being gold and silver. And the capital appreciation is so huge that it has become a very important topic of discussion, be it me discussing with my friends or colleagues, or it being amongst a matter of discussion among retail investors or common people who actually want to make the most out of the money that they possess. So I also did a little bit of research on this, and I wanted to share my perspectives. Maybe if it can help develop a perspective amongst all of you who are watching the video, or maybe help you understand the way forward, whether to allocate most of the funds into these two precious metals or to adopt a more balanced approach is something that maybe this video can help you decide. So what is exactly happening? Why is this surge happening? If you look at the prices of gold, gold is almost touching 1.31 lakh per 10 grams, and silver has touched almost rupees 1.58 lakh per kilogram. And these are real numbers in 2025. Now you would ask, why are these prices skyrocketing? I'll try to break it down to the extent possible, considering all of your layman who are watching the video do not have a very financially a very sound acumen. So I'll try to break it down easily for all of you. So now India as a country consumes 700 to 800 tons of gold every year. If you look at it that way, if you want to have a quantifiable comparative figure, I mean, how to compare this 700 to 800 tons of weight. So if you stack 500 cars almost, you'll be able to fetch so much amount of weight. So that much amount of gold is something which India as a country is consuming specifically for two purposes. One being wedding and one being festivals. Like, India is a country of festivals, and we had Dhanteras and today's Diwali when I'm recording this video. So the more major consumption tends to happen around this time. Now let's talk about the global economy as such. Like, what has global economy to do with the surge in the prices of these two metals? So currently, or maybe when we can consider a situation when the global economy is shaky. Shaky is a synonym for maybe volatile, when you think that there are external events that are in a position to hamper the global economy, and that can happen in a situation like, consider United States printing more and more dollars. It is the frequency of it being printing dollars would be more than the amount of WhatsApp forwards your relative would be forwarding to each other. And maybe there is a situation where countries are arguing over trade deals. So this all creates a vacuum in the global economic situation, and this is a situation when investors might feel nervous, right? Banks also will not feel safe. Inflation will rise. Things will become more and more expensive, and suddenly people will also tend to have that quotient of being risk averse, that their money is not safe and everything, right? So this is the situation where alternatives like gold and silver come into the picture, because people think that these are the safe modes of investment and they will not lose their money, if they just like they feel when they put the money into the bank, right? They feel the money is safe. So gold and silver are also considered safe compared to the other volatile options, be it stocks, be it a derivative position, which are more and more risky. So it's just like keeping the cash under your mattress when you're going to sleep, so that the money is safe, right? Safe from thieves, be it safe from inflation, and even from nosy neighbors who would always keep asking how much, why do you hold so much amount of cash? Also, in times of war or maybe a financial crisis, sometimes it happens that gold prices tend to rise faster than any other mode of investment, right? Because the more risky the situation, the more safe you would want to be. People would literally trust gold more than the banks, is something that a situation can arise. Now, there is something called as de-dollarization. Now, what is de-dollarization? Imagine, let me try to explain with a very, easy example. Imagine if every neighbor in your colony suddenly decided to purchase the same TV, because the shopkeeper in your locality said that this is the limited edition of TV, and this is not going to come again, and this is the last pile of stock that I'm selling. It will not come again. So what will the neighbors who actually have the purchasing power will do? They will go and rush and buy that TV, right? And obviously the price of that TV will shoot up. It is just the demand supply concept, right? And suddenly the budget plan of these people who are actually buying the TV will go out, right? Because they are spending a lot of amount of money for an asset which normally doesn't cost that much. The same logic applies for gold. If you look at the chart that I've given here, you'll see countries like mainly countries like Russia, China, and even India, they buy gold to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. This concept of reducing the reliance on US dollar is called de-dollarization, because you understand normal words like demystify and all that. When we put a D, it means reducing the effect of something. So that is what de-dollarization actually is. The idea is if a country holds more gold, right, it is less affected by dollar fluctuations. So if India decides that it wants to be less affected by dollar fluctuations, the dollar moving against the rupee, appreciate, depreciate happening, it will hold more and more amount of gold, right? This is the idea when actually countries try to purchase more and more of gold. So when governments actually buy more gold, so governments also buy gold, right? It's not just the countries or individuals like us who are buying gold. It's governments also buying, right? I mean, buying gold again and again, be it the Reserve Bank of India, which is a statutory organization. The demand. So with these institutions buying gold at a larger quantity, the demand for gold automatically goes up, and this pushes the price of gold higher for each and every one of us, which maybe is a situation that we are seeing right now. Interestingly, if you just not look at the Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank of India, and you look at maybe the central bank of other countries as well, combined, if you look at all the central banks around the whole of the world, I was just reading in an article, they collectively hold around 35,000 tons of gold, which is like a mountain of gold stacked. It is that much amount of gold, right? And it is almost enough to cover five football fields, I would say, if I have to give a hypothetical example, and that also with a meter thick layer. So that much is actually the quantum that government organizations like the statutory banks of the countries have actually purchased gold, which is again a very big factor in the gold prices surging. So this was a concept of de-dollarization. Now, we are retail investors. Like, we all are aware of the iPhone culture that is going around. The iPhone 17 was recently launched, and there was iPhone 16, 15 in the previous years. And also, whenever there is a new iPhone launching, we see people queuing up around the Apple stores and trying to be the first one who actually buys the new phone. There are actually in the news people we see people doing that. So that is something that happens. Now, imagine that situation where people are actually lining up and some are even camping outside the shop, just like we see in the news articles in India. Maybe I think the first Apple store is in Mumbai, so that is where we usually see the queues around. Or the largest store is in Mumbai. I'm not very sure of the data. So so this hype alone makes the iPhone priceless. So people are just like the word of mouth. People are saying this person is buying, so let's buy. But basically it's just an asset, right? I mean, it's a depreciating asset. I mean, obviously you may have a different perspective, but it's a depreciating asset, and whether or not it makes, this is not the subject of the video, whether or not we should purchase an iPhone, but I just wanted to give an example of how things are happening. So just like people follow word of mouth, ये iPhone ले रहे तो हम लोग भी iPhone. Similarly, thing happens for gold as well, right? Gold, ये gold ले रहा है तो we I will also try to purchase gold, क्योंकि ये समझदार इंसान, I know this person is wise, and if he is making it will be correct. So that similar concept we retail investors also follow without doing any additional research of our own, that whether it's the right time. I'll see the chart of how gold has been moving historically and all that. Gold has been doing very well historically. Just like you see stock market indices doing well, gold also does pretty well. So it's similarly, it's not just governments, institutions, which I just discussed few time back. It is also the retail investors of us who are actually finding gold very liquid as an asset and trying to invest more and more money into it because it is very easy to sell. There is also a black market of gold which is there, which all of you would be aware. So it's very easy to sell, and whenever you need money, like you go to the bank, you can withdraw. Gold is also not that difficult. Like for a stock, maybe it can be difficult to liquidate it very easily because the stock prices keep on fluctuating, and you may not get a profit at a particular point of time. Having said that, digital gold is also becoming very popular in India. There are gold ETFs, and now people can buy gold for as little as rupees 100 by maybe buying gold ETF and all that thing. Right? Gold is liquid and it is trusted so much historically. If you hear your parents, they will always try. They say, or the other generation, the older generation who actually never witnessed this stock culture or other assets culture, derivatives, be it anything. So they always think gold to be the safest, and they will always suggest you to do that. So now you can easily buy gold also for 100 rupees. It's just like buying shares of gold. It's a gold ETF, right? And without visiting a shop, you don't have to go to a shop. You just log into a website, maybe your DMAT or whatever, and you buy a gold ETF. So it's just like it's as simple as ordering a pani. So this is what is making gold available to retail investors more and more. And this is also a factor in the increasing price. And not, mind you, not just about gold, true for silver as well. You can buy silver ETFs, you can, for as much as rupees 100. So it's as simple as that. So whenever the since it has become more easily investable, that also as a factor, coupled with the fact that it is a safe mode of investment and people want to invest more and more into gold. Now talking about silver, so silver is not just for jewelry. It's also used in electronics, solar panels, smartphones. If you look at the smartphone, the circuit and all that we smartphone is made of. So all these things require laptop circuits or IC, whatever. So all these things require silver. And even electric vehicles, which are very popular nowadays, you see the trend of electric vehicles. And so with them booming, silver automatically, the amount of silver increases and the price automatically increases. There is also booming tech demand in our country right now, and there is a limited supply of silver, mind you. There's not like an abundant amount of supply of silver, right? So automatically, the demand being more, supply being less, the price, the normal economic condition of demand supply mismatch. So automatically, the prices tend to rise. So basically, silver is like the hidden engine behind all of our gadgets, and that is why and gadgets is something which all of us use prominently, and that is exactly why it has become more and more pricey. Now, think of it like a chai masala. Suddenly, there's a chai masala which is very popular, and every tea stall wants it. So the stock is limited, and now again, since it's limited, everybody wants it. Now it is booming and booming, booming. The price is continuously shooting up and up and up. So, so this is the reason why silver is also booming. So we talked about gold, but silver is also become more investable. The demand has increased, so which is a very prominent factor of the price surging. Now, talking about the culture, and I already mentioned about the festival aspect. India is a country of festivals, and we tend to purchase gold or silver in festivals like Diwali or Akshay Tritiya maybe, and Dhanteras, where we consider buying it as auspicious and it will bring prosperity into our life. So this is a belief that we all of us have. And so wedding season is generally around winter. Everybody tries to buy, because obviously wedding requires you to purchase some thing in the form of gold or silver, whatever be it. So again, the surge is there. Then the cultural demand. So this cultural demand also adds fuel to the fire, where more buyers are there and the prices are also getting higher and higher. Now, Indians love their jewelry. If I talk about it in that sense, India, it's like a tradition. It's also like a status symbol. It's something that you cannot help it. It's like a status. People want to flaunt it, that I have this, I have that, and all that. And also an investment. All these things summed up into one. It's like everybody wanting the same laddu at the sweet shop during Diwali, and also there being limited stock, right? So plus nobody wants to be the neighbor with empty hands, right? So this is also one prominent reason of it being very widely regarded. I mean, the price. So if you look at it, you summarize it, everything comes down to the demand supply ratio, which is something, the basic thing that we learn when we start reading economics, right? Actually, the article I was reading, I also read this fact that around 25% of the global demand comes from India every year. Combined for gold and silver, the 25% global demand comes from India. And again, it's wedding, it's festivals and all that. So during Diwali or festivals like Dhanteras, the global surge in price is actually having an Indian effect. And India is a populous country, so automatically that is again a factor. So here I just have given a roller coaster, and roller coaster means ups and downs. Be it so, just like any other asset, gold and silver, or any of the precious metals, or anything in general, does have a volatility as well. Sometimes the price recovers, sometimes it keeps on surging. So it's a kind of a reality check. Prices don't keep going up forever. Gold and silver can also fall if the demand slows and the market stabilizes, or the government starts selling the gold that it has actually accumulated, which they're buying right. So some ups and downs are very normal, just like a roller coaster. Now think of gold and silver like a monsoon rain, right? Sometimes it, specifically in cities like Mumbai, where it rains like crazy, right? During the season of monsoon. So sometimes you dance in the rain, or sometimes it can be the situation where you're actually enjoying the rain. But sometimes all of a sudden you'll see the rain vanish, right? So there can be situation when it's raining and you're left with soggy socks with an umbrella. So I'm just trying to correlate it with. I hope you all guys can understand the this comparison which I'm trying to make. And suddenly the situation can be where actually, sorry, suddenly the situation can be where the rain has actually vanished, and there is no sign of rain, and you are the umbrella that you purchased has no use at all. So similar thing can happen in the case of a investment asset as well, be it the precious metals of gold and silver also. Sometimes, and we actually try to accumulate more and gold. And same is the case of stocks. When the asset becomes cheaper, we try to accumulate more of it so that when it appreciates, that we know it is going to appreciate, we make money out of it. Now, historically, if you look at gold, it has huge period of high gains, not just gains, high gains, but it has also corrections of 10% to 15%, which actually falls and people try to purchase more. Again, the price, when they purchase more, the prices go up. So silver is also volatile. In fact, it is more volatile than gold. So timing is very important when you're investing for the short term. Specifically for short-term investors, timing is very important when you are entering into a position or exiting a position, right? So, what are the key takeaways that I wanted to demonstrate to this video is gold and silver can be very exciting, but you should never put all your eggs in one basket, right? This is a wise saying which we hear from our elders and we've been listening to when we read in our school, our teachers tell us and all. So, a balanced mix of savings, stocks, bond, gold. You may want to invest in FDs, though I never recommend fixed deposits as a mode of investment. But so a balance mix. This chart is not some investment advice. It is just a general chart to demonstrate that actually your investment portfolio should be a balanced one, and there should be some safety aspect. If you are young, you're in a position to take risk. You can take a higher return, higher reward aspect, and all that. You go for shares. You go for equity mutual funds, then you go for debentures, you for debt mutual fund, all of that. Then you go for gold, then you go for silver. Okay. So always buy with caution, and you should ride the trend wisely, is something which I would like to sum it up that way. Buy with caution. That's something which I tell to people who come to me for investment advice. Again, I would say buy with caution and ride the trend wisely. So don't just chase rising prices nowadays. So don't just chase the prices of gold and silver since just because it is rising, right? So everybody else in the mela is doing that. You should not be the one who is just following word of mouth or trying to follow what they are doing. You should spread your bets, maybe uh, in whatever way you want to do it, right? And investing should is something that should make you feel safe, not stressed, right? So you may not you if you imagine somebody who's buying 100% stock always all the time he's stressed just when the market goes down. All my I've lost all my money. Then again market goes up, he's happy. So it's again a roller coaster. So it should make you feel safe that your money is safe. That is why a lot of people try to put their money into banks, right? So for Indians in general, if for Indian households, I would say, if you look at the Indian households in general, so generally what the trend has been that people keep 5 to 10% of their portfolio in gold. A study I was reading, it said, and maybe if you add silver, it's another 5 to 10%. So around 10 to 20% is towards these precious metals, right? So the rest of the money can go into your expenditure. You can save some amount as a contingency fund. The other can go into mutual funds and other investment. And so this is not a recommendation to invest into a particular mode, but again, following the principle of not putting all your eggs in one basket, try to have a balanced portfolio. Generally, a thumb rule has been that you do a 70-30 ratio in the scenario. So again, I'm not giving investment advice. It's a disclaimer that I'm giving. So please don't consider this as an investment advice. But the standard thumb rule has been that 70 is to 30 is generally the ratio people try to invest their money into gold, silver. Some people reverse it also, like silver being 70%, gold being 30%, if they have less money, because silver is again less costlier than gold. So they and given and silver has actually given the higher returns than gold as well. Recent times silver is has appreciated more than gold. So people try, if they have less funds, they cannot buy gold, they buy more of silver, and that balance they buy maybe a 1 gram of gold, or if they're buying digital gold, they buy gold ETF. So that is the idea. So I hope that you find the video useful and I could give good inputs which can help you take a decision in the long. Thank you so much.